All right, it's Bill here. I know I haven't done a video in a bit. I have been severely under the weather and still not feeling fantastic. But yeah, I'm going to put together a little video. I know I missed the Leaf games on the weekend, and I didn't do anything for the Four Nations. I wasn't going to do anything for the Four Nations anyways, but I'll give a little thoughts on that. And then, get the Leaf games, and then hopefully tonight's game against Boston, I'll feel good enough after the game to do a video. But yeah, so it's going to probably lack a little bit of energy and excitement in this video, which, okay, I'll give you the fair warning. Let me just maybe touch on the Four Nations. So Canada won, which was great. I thought the hockey was decent. I did catch most of the games. The only really the period that I missed there's two. I missed the first period of USA Finland, and which I believe was on a Thursday last week, and then I only caught the first period of USA Sweden on if it was the Saturday, or no, it wasn't the Saturday, it was the Monday, and then pretty much caught the rest of it. I'm going to take a look at it first of all from a Leaf perspective. So Nylander did not have a good tournament. Was caused a couple errors, but I mean, was he horrible? No. He didn't stand out. I didn't think he was very good. So in a best on best, he certainly didn't stand out. Matthews, I thought Matthews was pretty decent for the first for the first couple games. Again, I didn't catch a lot of the Sweden game. Or actually, he didn't play the Sweden game, so how can I tell you? But yeah, overall defensively, was he responsible for the last goal? It appears so. It would have been him or Fox on the McDavid goal. But let's not forget that he had 3 glorious chances to finish that game, and Binnington robbed him. Binnington stood on his head. And now it would have been, from a Leafs perspective, would have been great for Matthews to finish it, probably. From a Canadian perspective, it would have sucked. So, yeah, I thought Matthews was decent. I don't think there's anything really to complain about there. In his first couple of games back, the one thing I just want everyone to just keep in mind with Matthews, that was a defensive tournament. What that tournament showed for everyone is if you don't have a good defensive system or good defensive forwards, you are not going to win. All those players played defensively. It was the game against the Americans, after the 3 fights. It just like Jacob Slavin. Like, it was crazy defense. Faber was great for the Canadians. Really impressed with Parenko. Really impressed with Sanheim coming in, and Thomas Harley came out of nowhere and played fantastically. And of course, Makar is Makar. Makar's insane. It was crazy to see that. I thought the big stars for Canada. So let's go to Michy Boitano. First game, I thought he was awful. I know he scored the winning goal, but Boitano was nowhere to be found. He got the overtime goal, so you think, okay, boom, he's just scored a huge goal. Let's see what happens when you go into the next game. And against the Americans, and the first time playing them, invisible. And eventually was playing with McDavid and Reinhart. I thought Reinhart was the worst forward on the team. I could not believe they kept throwing Reinhart on the ice. He just didn't have anything. There was nothing that Reinhart did this entire tournament. I know he's a Stanley Cup winner, but man, oh man, he stood out as a sore thumb of being bad. And him and Marner weren't getting any chemistry with McDavid, and they finally switched that over to Point for the Finland game, and then they got I think Point's a better player. Again, it was good that Cooper was able to react, and Cooper staying with Binnington was fantastic. But then, Mitchie's moving his way down the lineup. And against Finland, he down the lineup. I believe he was playing with Cirelli and Hag. Then it became in the gold, or in the last game, the championship game. There's no doubt Boitano showed up. So Boitano made a fantastic pass to Bennett, but then he started getting a little bit more confidence, which is good to see. Like, again, I'm not a Boitano fan. Okay. I was watching this going, okay, that goal against Sweden, come on, that's got to inspire you. And then he lays an egg for the next 2 games, but then he showed up in the last game. He made a great pass to Bennett, and then, of course, on that last play. Now, I think they're giving Marner a little bit too much credit. That is a hell of a play by Makar to know that where Marner was, considering he was as far away from him in the offensive zone as you possibly can. He rips around the boards. Marner's talent to take that puck from his skate to his stick was impressive. But let's just say any one of us could have made that pass. That was a wide open McDavid, and McDavid buries it. So great for Canada. The other thing I'll mention about with booing I'm not going to get into any. If you want a politics discussion, you can get a politics discussion somewhere else. If you want to get me in a private conversation about politics, I'll share my thoughts, but I ain't sharing it on YouTube. What I will say is that booing the anthem, I get it. I just don't understand why you play the anthem before the game. What's the point? There wasn't an international hockey league game where they play I believe they only play the anthem of the winning team. Anyways, I don't like booing. I get it, but I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand why the anthem is played. It just doesn't make sense to me. The second thing, the Tkachuks. Let me explain something about the Tkachuk. So I'm glad that they made a name for themselves. It's awesome. I'm glad Matthew got to go on the Tonight Show and have a great time on the Tonight Show. I'm glad Brady yipped and yapped, and they made let's face fast. The Tkachuks made a name for themselves. Fantastic. How are their NHL teams doing now? Florida's not going to have them. How did Brady talking and yipping and yapping and doing all the nonsense? Did he play that first game back for Ottawa when they lost 5-2 to Montreal? No, didn't play. The captain for Ottawa didn't play. That's my thoughts on the Tkachuks. I'm glad they're going to be famous. Way to go, guys. Awesome. Ottawa, when's the last time you made the playoffs? Wouldn't it have been nice to have Brady in the lineup for your first game? Or is he too busy thinking about the commercials that he's going to do? So the Tkachuks just showed their name. They want to be famous. Good, be famous. Awesome. I'm sure your team really, really appreciates it. Because, by the way, you weren't the best players on the USA team. To me, the best player on the USA team was Slavin. I couldn't believe how good Slavin was. It showed Jack Hughes was terrible. Jack Hughes was no bueno. I thought Dylan Larkin might have been even the best player in the tournament. So it did show that. But, everyone's talking about the Tkachuks, so I'm glad. Your mom and dad should be very proud. I'm sure the owners for the Ottawa Senators in Florida are so excited that you got to go on to the Jimmy Fallon show. That's great. Shows you what kind of characters you are, okay? So you keep talking about Brady Tkachuk playing a playoff game and how great he'll be in a playoff game. See, the problem with that, Brady, is you got to get to the playoffs. And to get to the playoffs, you got to win regular season games. And when you miss a game against Montreal and you lose, you ain't getting to the playoffs. Now let's talk about the Leafs. The Saturday game, 6-3 and 5-3 against the Blackhawks on the Sunday. Again, I did watch the games. I was kind of in, I would say Saturday game I probably had a little bit more attention. Sunday game I was kind of just hoping for the game to end so I could go to bed. And that's probably why I didn't do the video tomorrow. I'm starting to get a little bit of energy back. But so here's what I'll say. Over 2 games, 11 goals. So put up a 6 spot and a 5 spot. And Mitch Marner, Boitano, didn't get 1 point. I think that's a good thing. His ice time was limited. Obviously, it looked like Matthews, both of them under 20 minutes, both games. I liked it. And you know who we didn't see? We didn't see Ryan Reeves. There's no Ryan Reeves. They're apart. And I hope I never do one again. That's a bad signing by Trevor Ling. Ding, 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 ding. He's going to get bought out. He has to get bought out. Or put him in the minors. My God. You have Dewar coming back. You have Kelly Yarncaw coming back. Where's the spot for Reeves? Did you miss Reeves in those 2 games? Did you miss him? Because I did. The man has 1 fight all year. He's done nothing. He doesn't do his job. He's basically invisible. He doesn't do anything. So, and I'd love to know. I'm going to give you the record without Reeves in the lineup, but I can tell you it's way better when he's out of the lineup. So they're playing Boston on Tuesday today, and then I'll watch the game, and I'm hoping I don't see the Ryan Reeves. I don't want to give you any more Ryan Reeves or Pat. Again, as they came back, I expected Russ, but they actually, Let's face facts. Carolina was god awful. Matter of fact, they scored themselves. My favorite thing: Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev over those 2 games doubled their goal totals. They went from 1 to 2. Pontus Holmberg went from 2 to 5, and he didn't shoot on a goalie. He went from 2 goals to 5 goals and didn't have a shot on net with a goalie in the net. How do you do that? Well, you get 2 empty netters, and then you have one, which I'm still, did he even get the goal? He kind of went in front of the net, touched something, maybe touched the puck last, and then Jordan Stahl bangs it into his own net. That's Holmberg. He makes me sick to see him on the second line. Absolutely sick to my stomach to see him on the second line. But 2 and Willie could have scored the 1. He passed it over. Okay, I like this. I thought you got Alex Steeves scoring his first goal ever in the NHL, plus an assist. You have Steve Lorentz with the pass of the weekend over to David Kampf for his 4th goal. Like, I'm not joking. The goalies, the goals that were scored, you had a Matthews empty netter, and you had a John Tavares off a William Nylander pass. The next big score was Robertson with 2 in Chicago to get to 10. Like, we had 4, 2, 5, like the 5th goal of the season. Again, you're playing Carolina, so that's a good team. And then you're playing Chicago, and I thought that first period in Chicago was god awful. And they're down 1-0. I'm thinking, God, you can't beat Carolina and then lose to Chicago if you want to win the division. That first period was awful, and then it started off with a nice pass from Domi to Robertson, and off they went. And again, the only thing here's glaring. This is what the Leafs need. I've heard the talk about another defense, but I'm not sold on that. I think the defense has been fine. Timmins played both games. Benoit, he had one where he had a bad shift, where he got caught on the ice for a long time against Chicago. But I think defense overall, I don't think that's the issue. Like, if you take a look, you still have Myers on the bench. If that Yanni Hakanpää can grab a knee or something. Like, I don't know if defense is the need. I will tell you the need for the Leafs. It's a center. It is a decent centerman, not a 4th-line center. It's a decent centerman who can put pucks in the net and can play defense. You need a 2-way centerman. You need a Kadri. Oh, I used to have him? Yes. You need someone to handle the defensive zone on the 3rd line. Because I get it, everyone, Domi and, oh my God, they generated offense against Chicago. They're god-awful. Domi is god-awful at centerman in a defensive zone. He is bad. Frank Nazar used him like a cheap tent. You can't have this. The Leafs, if they want to go anywhere, need a 3rd line, really good. I'm not talking about some like Nick Bustad's guy. I don't want that. For the Leafs to be effective, I've heard Scott Laughton, maybe Brock Nelson, after watching him in the I don't think so. You need something good. You need a Kadri. That's the guy that I think would be awesome on the Leafs. He's probably, at the end, he's not going to lose his mind against Boston anymore. He's won a cup. He knows what it takes. I know his contract's not good, but can you imagine a Kadri on this team? Now, to get Kadri, you'd have to give up Fraser Minton or Easton Cowan or Picks. Yeah, you do it. I watched Fraser Minton enough to know he's Matt Stajan. If Calgary's stupid enough to trade Kadri for Fraser Minton and a pick, you do it. That's what the Leafs need. It's glaring. Also, you need someone who's going to put a little sandpaper in. Just my thoughts. Anyway, here's another thing that I love. I apologize. I am absolutely in love with this goaltending tandem. I'm trying to decide whether I like ribeye steak or this goaltending tandem more. That tells you how much I love this goaltending tandem. This goaltending tandem is awesome. Now, I know there's going to be a problem at the end where who are you going to start? That's a great problem to have. Because you know who's not going to be in the net? It ain't going to be Samsonov. It ain't going to be Campbell. It ain't going to be Anderson. There's going to be a guy who's reliable in the net, regardless of Stolarz or Wall. I personally like Wall a little bit better, but I don't care who's in the net. I don't have to worry about a crappy goal going in from somewhere. Now, I will share with you the goaltending in Binnington let in a couple bad goals, but man, oh man, when he needed it, he stood on his friggin' head. So good on you, Binnington. I've always liked Binnington because he's kind of a wild friggin' idiot, and I've got him on my pool team. But so sometimes I got to worry about him getting some fighting majors. But he loses his mind. I love it. But a Stolarz and Wall just give me some comfort. And we've got this comfort for years. We got it for a couple of years, I think. You re-signed Wall for a good salary. You got Stolarz for a hell of a salary. I think for next year, too. This is fantastic. The Leafs just need to add a center. Don't worry about the D. Give up on Minton. I don't know about Cowan. I haven't watched Cowan enough to tell you what he is, or Danford. I don't know. But I've seen Minton. I know what Minton is. He's Matt Stajan. If you got to sacrifice, you got to. The Leafs are a third. And this center could play second-line center. Because maybe Johnny T goes down to third because Johnny T can't skate. So you want some guy who can, not a Ryan Riley. I'm telling you, if I had my wish, Leaf fans, it's Kadri. I got through the video, which is awesome. Hopefully I've got enough energy after the Boston game. If a Boston game doesn't give me enough energy to do a video after it, I don't know what will. Cheers.